Since the promulgation of the Constitution, 2010 Constitution, several significant changes or a lot has taken place in our counties. There was a cassette notice or legal notice that approved the transfer of functions to county governments. Several functions, including forestry function. One of the milestones that we have achieved is that all the 47 county governments, there is a good collaboration with them. The Kenya Forest Service, which is the national government, and the 47 county governments, there is that good collaboration in implementing that program. 80% of these transition plans has been signed. And that collaboration, why are we together with the county governments, is that we want to get to that percent tree cover by the year 2032 because of the stakeholders.
The mandate is to protect 2.6 million hectares of public forest, secure key installations, safety of personnel and visitors within our establishments. And in addition, the Directorate also provides support to county and community forest. How do you do this? We conduct forest crime detection through patrols. We prevent crimes. That is, we be proactive in terms of addressing issues of crime before they happen. We also conduct investigation and prosecution. Once we arrest any offender in the forest, we take them through the normal processes. We take them to the nearest police station, then to the courts. Then we present our case, it's properly investigated, and the offender goes now to the court to be charged.
So from the background, Kenya Forest Service introduced farmer field schools extension methodology in its services in 2004 through a project which was funded by JICA, and it was implemented from 2004 to 2009. Farmer Field School is an innovative participatory interactive discovery-based learning where farmers are given the opportunity to learn. The farmers normally meet once every week, and they develop their own curriculum, and they're able to go through that curriculum and they learn through the FFS.
We cannot do all this alone. We also work with other stakeholders like the judiciary, National Police Service, Correctional Services, the NGAO, the county governments, the CFAs, and other non-state actors.
So the capital for the forest investment facility came from the loans which were paid back by the farmers in the implementation of the World Bank project, and the capital was around $750,000 US. FIF is currently giving farmers loans, and we are working together with Equity Bank as our partner to give us the financial services which we need, which KFS does not have. And we have negotiated the terms and conditions for this loan with the bank. So we are not giving out the credit the way the bank gives out its credit with using its own terms. So the program is looking at supporting farmers to plant trees, which we are calling them the farm forestry projects, and also to improve their living standards, the livelihoods projects. And also the other main focus, which is a focus of KFS, is to increase tree and forest cover in the country. So those are the two key objectives. We have learned provisions of incentives to small-scale farmers can lead to improved livelihoods and increased tree cover. We have also learned that forest incentives can introduce the unbankable. You know, those small-scale farmers who are not able to work in a bank and get loans. So forest incentives can introduce the unbankable population to banking, where they can now grow to be financial borrowers of these institutions. And then capacity building of beneficiaries in financial literacy and development of bankable project proposals have been key drivers in achieving what we have achieved under FIF.
Kenya's forestry sector has undergone significant reforms driven by the need to address pressing challenges such as deforestation, weak governance, and climate change. And the reason why we talk of reforms is that the people's needs keep changing, yeah? People will have a need today, and tomorrow they will have a different need. And so you have to change the policy environment, the legal environment, and you have to respond to that because it is critical so that you are in tandem with the people. The reforms have included decentralization, policy updates, and participatory forest management, which have paved the way for emerging partnerships. What are the critical things we need to think deeply about? One, why do most forest concessions benefit elite actors and exclude local communities? We have to think about that. That's what we are talking about, the elite capture. Are KFS and Ministry of Environment structurally capable of managing carbon and timber economies simultaneously? Or is it a new institutional framework needed? We have to think critically about that. Should counties be allowed to independently generate revenue through carbon finance and timber levies? We have to think critically about that. Can Kenya's forest sector be self-sustaining without a reliance on donor funding and NGO-driven partnerships? We'll discuss that. And why hasn't the Forest Conservation and Management Act been fully implemented, including formation of the Forest Tribunal and stronger enforcement of legal logging bans?
In the year 2023, we were able to employ 262 forest rangers, 101 inspector cadets, and 477 forest trainees or forest officers. We have reclaimed and we are restoring. Mainly the forest that we have been able to recover is majorly in Mau Forest Complex, that is Masai Mau. In fact, Masai Mau was highly encroached, but currently we have already recovered almost the entire of it. We have also even gotten the gazettement of that forest, and fencing currently is ongoing. Makunga in Saboti, Kirisi in Samburu, Embobut in Elgeyo Marakwet, Cheptais in Mount Elgon. Challenges I'll just go through very fast. One of them is forest fires and climate change. What is the impact? It will increase forest degradation, loss of biodiversity, and decrease revenue. Way forward, we conduct a lot of community sensitization, stakeholder engagement, investing in technology. Another challenge is encroachment and illegal settlement. The impact leads to loss of forest cover, biodiversity, and degradation of water catchment areas. Way forward, we do a lot of reclamation, restoration, and fencing encroached and degraded forest land. Inadequate housing for rangers. Why is it a challenge? Currently, our rangers are living in dilapidated and inadequate housing, leading to some rangers renting outside their post, exposing forest to crime.
You already showed us the numbers and what you're doing. However, we wish to understand the challenges that KFS is confronted with in addressing the targets that are already set.
One of the key issues that I would want to look at is the reason why we needed to move the target from 10% in the Constitution to even the 30% is because after some studies were done, it was realized that we have over 10.6 million hectares that require rehabilitation. And of course, that will call for more enhanced tree growing so that we can be able to achieve a remarkable forest and tree cover. And that's why those targets were pushed up. And we also have also brought on board sectors, stakeholders, community forest associations, and companies, including banks, and maybe Jane will also later tell you that we even have the financial world supporting the Kenya Forest Service. We have like a nursery called the NCBA in Karura. We have another one. We have like other government bodies like Kula, Kenya that are supporting city production. And very Safaricom is also there. So we are trying to make sure that we have sufficient number of cities that can be able to meet our target. So So we have the targets, but we also have the challenge. We have the strategies that will enable us to meet those targets. Of course, finance is still an issue, and that's why we have a resource mobilization strategy as a directorate, such that is able to link up with the private sector and the various stakeholders, so that we can bridge the gap between what the government can be able to provide and what we'll be able to get from the other stakeholders. Of course, we also are having various incentives to communities. Plantation establishment livelihood scheme is one of them. We're also having a bit of terrace, whereby we allow communities to combine a bit of farming with the tree growing, so that we are able to ensure that our citizens survive. Fencing is also one. Protection is also one through our areas. And of course, using the community, the CFAs and the various stakeholders, then and the community scouts, then we also bring them on board, so that they can also assist us in protection of those three seedings, so that they're able to survive and they're able to give more benefits.
We are in good working or cordial working relationship with the county governments in the entire country, and there is a good progress in the implementation of forestry activities. One, there is MOUs. We have signed frameworks for collaboration to develop green spaces within towns. Yeah, you saw what happened in Homa Bay. That is one of the green spaces. We are in the process of signing or finalizing that framework in Eldoret, in Nairobi, several counties. So there is that good collaboration. And again, we have worked closely also in preparing environmental laws.
We are talking about the counties prioritizing forestry as a very serious pillar in our national development. But when counties rank what they want to do, when they do ranking number 1, maybe up to 10, normally forestry is number 10. I don't know that you'll agree with me, those from the county. They will rank food security, water, blah, 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 blah. They will roads. And when they reach down there, they are going to say forestry is last. But we need to do a lot of advocacy on this, because forestry should actually be among one of our top priority areas in the light of climate change, in the light of disasters, in the light of mitigating carbon stocks. Within the county forestry development program, we have a partnership agreement that we want to officially engage the counties, so that those that are interested will also sign that with KFS, so that we have a longer time engagement with one another.
There has been a number of publications over the encroachment of Karura Forest. Is it true? If it is, why is it happening? And how is KFS ensuring that it doesn't extend?
Are there any deliberate plans to actually devolve forestry?
And let me assure this audience that Karura Forest is intact. Karura Forest is about 1,000 hectares. It's fully fenced, intact fence, and there is no form of encroachment within Karura Forest. Actually, about last week, even so, the chief conservator of forest actually visited some of those areas that had been alleged that they had been grabbed, and it was proven otherwise. So the forest is intact. There's a very strong association that the Friends of Karura, working with Kenya Forest Service.
There is a lot of potential in that area. We analyzed recently the revenues, or the amount of monies that we collect in terms of revenues. They are far much more compared to what is being collected in the national or state managed forests.
But we really want to scale up. We would be very happy to be in the 47 counties in Kenya. That's where we want to get. And as I've said, it's a program within KFS. It's not a project which is ending tomorrow. So long as KFS is there, our focus is to get to the 47 counties, and we hope we'll be there.